Hey Gemini, I have been waiting to talk to you guys. What is up? Oh my god, when I tell you that I had fun, I had so much fun. And there are like things that I haven't said about the trip yet because I was like waiting to talk to you guys. Okay, so I go on this trip, right? And I'm like, still kind of recovering from my own emotional things. I've been single for a while, but I went through a pretty, painful breakup a few years ago, and sure, I felt like on some level I was still perhaps nursing some wounds that at that point were just self-inflicted. So I went to Jamaica really with this idea of intense healing. That I would go and just be by the water and, take things that would make me kind of trip out and just heal. Psilocybin is known to heal things that are not curable with modern medicine. Things like alcoholism, things like acute depression, clinical depression. Not that I have either one of those. I'm not a drinker, and I actually wasn't depressed, but I just felt like I was having some trouble kind of really closing up the wounds. So to facilitate some healing, I went to Jamaica, and in the midst of all this beautiful water and beautiful people, beautiful energy, great food, beautiful weather, the whole, the mixture of all those things coming together really, jump-started this process of me feeling very healed and feeling better. And then it was as if, like, right then, when I finally kind of said to myself, I really need to close this door. I really need to close this door because I don't think any other doors are going to open until I do it. Right when I kind of had that realization, that, why did I do that? That was working fine. That evening, I met someone, Capricorn. And it was super, super nice and very kind of easy and just really like we had known each other for a long time, all that kind of cliche thing that you think when you first meet somebody. But the more important thing, the reason I'm telling you this and why it ties into your reading here, is because, after a couple of days of hanging out together, we were sitting and eating, and, I've been very kind of upfront in a very Gemini way about what I've been going through and about how I just really don't want to date. I don't feel like it. And I was kind of giving my spiel, I'm just not really, ready for anything, and I'm kind of still, healing from something. And in a very, like, Capricorn fashion, he just asks a very simple question. Well, what is it that you're still healing from? And when I was put in the position of having to answer something so simply put, without any judgment whatsoever, just, curious, well, what is it? I knew that I was communicating with someone who needed to be spoken to directly, and I know I can be very direct, so I was looking for the words, and finally I said, I don't think it's anything that bad, actually. It's a good question. What am I trying to heal from? And I gave an example. Oh, well, I was in a situation where I felt like, in a relationship where I felt like I was always doing things wrong, and I didn't understand culturally, where the boundaries and the lines were, and he said, okay, give me an example. And I said, okay, one time we were in a store, and I went in a store because I liked to dress, and I was trying it on, and there were two girls from the store with me in the back where I was trying it on, and they were super, super nice, and we were just chilling, hanging out while I was trying on this dress. And one of the girls said, I think you should go out there and you should ask him if he likes the dress. I was like, why? I'm buying it. It's my money. It's my body. I'm going to be wearing it. It's my, sense of fashion and style and taste. So why would I'm confused. What do you mean? And she said, I think you should just, go ask him if he likes it, because I think he's sitting out there getting pissed that you're not asking him. I was like, okay. So I went out there and asked him. I said, very awkwardly, hey, do you like this dress? Do you care if I buy this? Ha ha ha. Kind of like, I can't believe I'm even asking you. And he said, yeah, do me a favor, sit down. So I sat down. And he said, yeah, that's too short. I can see up your dress. You can't buy that. I was like, at the time. So I'm recounting this story as we're eating. And again, in true Capricorn fashion, he says, well, he's right. And I was like, what? And he was like, well, yeah, I mean, listen, if you're dating someone and you want to bring them around your boys or whatever, you're definitely not going to let them wear a dress, that's like so short that when she sits down you can say. And I was like, yes, in theory I understand all that, but it was just, the principle of I should be able to buy whatever I want. And then I realized as the words were coming out of my mouth that the thing that was keeping me from healing, I had that huge epiphany moment. The thing that was keeping me from healing, the thing that I was keeping hidden from myself, the thing that was holding back, all this progress that I could have been having emotionally, was that I wanted to live out the theory of a relationship, not the actuality of one. In theory, I shouldn't have had to do that, but in actuality, he was right. Makes sense. That's how you should be. Shouldn't buy a dress like that. And if I was in there by myself, I probably wouldn't have bought it anyway, because I would have sat down and seen that it was too short. But it was just that he said it that made it an issue. And I realized that what was keeping me from healing was that my theory didn't work out. My abstract kind of Gemini cerebral way of loving didn't work. And what was killing me was that I couldn't get it to work, not that I was so wounded over this person. That wasn't it. That was quite an epiphany. And this month is all about epiphanies for us, all sorts, because, we've got such a great handle on money at the moment, and more will be coming in. We've got such a great handle over the relationship sector of our lives because we've got Jupiter hanging out. We've got so many opportunities. So here's, Jupiter in your, oh, that's so bright, I'm sorry. Here's Jupiter in your sign of relationships, in your house of relationships, okay? Here is you having enough money to kind of play with it. This has to do with having such a huge influx of business that you kind of don't know what to do. You're like, wow, I've got so many more clients. I've got so much more money being thrown at me. This is opportunity being thrown at you in a lot of different ways, but don't mistake this just for job opportunity. This is also about meeting that love, meeting that friend who's going to give you all that insight. The epiphanies themselves can be powerful moments like this, okay? So there's that. Of course, the first part of the month, everything has been really slow. You know that already, right? You have been feeling that. I really didn't need to do a reading to tell you that things are super slow and they're not going to move right now, right? I myself was completely kind of deadlocked and could not do anything while I was gone. So there is that. And also, we're being asked now to kind of, there is this part of us that's really hidden from us, okay? I don't know why it's still so bright, and there we go. There is a part of us that we hide from ourselves, okay? The part of us that when we actually get back in touch with it, we have these epiphany moments. For some people, epiphany moments are external. They come from the outside and they have an impact on you, and you kind of wake up and you say, ah, okay, I get it. And some signs have internal moments, internal realizations that lead to these epiphanies, and they don't have anything to do with any external stimuli. Now, in my case, what happened is the external stimuli, which was him asking this question in such a clear, kind of innocent way, what it did was it set off a chain reaction in my mind that led me to my truth that I was really hiding from myself, which was just, my own failure as a theoretical kind of person, my own failure, the failure of my cerebral way of looking at love. That's what was really getting to me. And once that realization was made, which is we will be having these kind of realizations this month, realizations that kind of jumpstart what will be a year filled with lots of thinking and working with money. Lots. Saving money, we're going to be saving a lot of money. We're going to be doing really well in terms of money, and then having enough to actually play with it. Not just save it, but also play with it. I love the combination of these two together because that's exactly the trajectory of our year. Now, this hanged man energy goes away within the first 2 weeks. We should be out of it by now. You might be feeling some effects of it still, but by the end of the month, we come into the Lunar New Year, so we get really going. And bottom of the deck, what I say, we really get going. Like this year is our year, I'm telling you. Because these emotional kind of house cleanings that we're going to do, these epiphanies that we're going to reach, they're all pointing us towards this fantastic later in the year love. You may have already met that person, you're on your way to meet that person, but what is for sure is that the money and the opportunity and the insight has already begun to take hold. So love following is just a natural progression, right? Makes total sense. Now, what do you have to look out for? When you go through periods like this where emotional stuff really does get put on the back burner because you have this realization that if you take care of your life and you are dope at the thing that you do, people will come to you and say, hey, she's dope or he's dope at this thing, and you will attract people who will naturally want to be around you. So focusing not on love this month, but even into next month, even into this whole year, right? Not focusing on love, but really seeing it as a byproduct of what comes to you when you're just doing really well at what you do and you're feeling really good about doing what you do. Okay? So really the focus is emotional clarity, right? Emotional clarity, getting to these hidden parts of the self leads to such enormous financial opportunity, such dominance in terms of business and finance, that love just becomes this kind of wonderful extra bonus that comes along, right? But these are your only two cards that you really have to worry about. One is over already. This feeling of stagnation, this is just harkening back to the few weeks we've just had. That's done with. And now we have the King of Wands. So what's the King of Wands about? When you're finally ready to let go of the wounding, finally ready to have those epiphanies and those realizations about yourself, then all of a sudden there is a part of you, and also in your surroundings, in your community, and the people around you, that will kick in and try to dominate you and say, no, you can't be like that. No, you can't change. No, you can't be doing better than you were doing before. No, you can't heal from that trauma. You've been messed up about that thing forever. That kind of society holding you by the neck and not allowing you to adapt and change is always one of the great burdens that Geminis face, because we can change and move so quickly. We can take this sort of really powerful realization and insight about ourselves, and we can move with it, and we can transmute it into really beautiful things. But the world doesn't move as fast as we move. And when we move with so much speed, this is an enormous amount of speed. When we move with this sort of speed, we really make a lot of people nervous. Okay, and especially they're going to be even more nervous, hater alert, they're going to be even more nervous because you're going to have all this money coming in. So not only are you having these beautiful moments, right, where you're really like on top of the world, you're also finding love, and you're also making, saving, and playing with money. So, I mean, it's not, Jupiter in the 5th house isn't just about even romance, is about creativity. So that also adds to all this other opportunity and money here, is that your creativity will be off the charts because your heart is open. You've healed and you're ready to work hard, make money, and put your life in a certain direction. And this is the perfect year to do it because it's a 1 year and you've got all this kind of new, vibrant, fuel for the fire. And it's super, super exciting, and you're roaring to go. And the only thing that you must be careful about now is that you let the rest of this particular month play out until the Lunar New Year without freaking out and being super impatient about all that you can already sense is coming to you. You know it's on its way. You can feel it. You know it, but you're like, so do it already. No. You still need to give it the time it takes. That's why the Hangman is still coming up. It's important because if it was completely over and you weren't going to feel that way anymore at all, it wouldn't come up like that, okay? So the reason it's coming up is because in some ways you will still be dealing with this energy, okay? Because things are moving, but not quite yet. Like, this video would have been actually really irritating for you to hear on January 2nd because all I would have been able to say about the first 2 weeks anyway is nothing's going to happen. I'm sorry. Right? So, until the 28th, until we come into the Lunar New Year, just hang tight. Know that all this great stuff is coming and start prepping yourself for it. If you know you're coming into a financially prosperous year, start saving now. Don't do the opposite and start spending because you know there's more money coming in. This is the kind of money that the more you save it, the more it's going to come to you. The more you accrue it, the more you will attract it. Okay? So being responsible, saving and making money, and really focusing on being really good at the thing that you're doing, being really dope at it. Okay, if you don't like your job, you can be dope in your off time, with how you dress or the music you listen to or the groups you're involved with or where you travel or where you go. And travel becomes, I've just been traveling and I've been promising, my family and my friends and everyone that I wasn't going to travel anymore. However, in this month, we also have another period of travel coming up that kind of flows us into February. And I'm beginning to feel it already. I'm already starting to think that maybe I need to, put in like a few days trip somewhere, just anywhere. Because we're going to have this kind of like travel urge come up. And why is all this kind of movement, change, epiphany, money, travel, love, new, why is it all coming in? Because this Gemini for us has been a period of closing doors. That's what 2016 was really about for us. It was about closing doors. And finally, we've shut all these different doors. We've had the realizations we need to have. And now new doors start to open. Doors closed, doors open, right? So we have made it through the dark hallway completely. The harsh twin who's on vacation, she's back. Hey, she's happy. She's doing well. She got sun and, fun and all this other stuff. And now it's time to go to work. It's time to go to work on you. It's time to go to work on your career. It's time to go to work on your client list. It's time to network. And it's time to not worry about love. Love is going to be a byproduct for you this year of what you do with you and with what you've been given, and with Jupiter in that particular house, the creativity that you will be able to tap into will be enormous. Okay, so use it wisely and, of course, have fun. This is a great year for us. We're looking really, really good. So I'm happy. I'm super happy. I missed you guys. I'm so sorry your video was late. And if you want to get a personal reading, I'll put my email below. And I'll see you next month. Bye.